Good morning, guys. All right, welcome to our next topic. All right, for some of you, this is just going to be a review, which is great, but you're going to really need this when you get into algebra. This is something I really want to focus on from this point going forward. And next week, we're going to start doing some algebra stuff. All right, so in order to do that, we've got to get better with adding and subtracting negative numbers. All right, so let me go back to a couple basic things. Okay, so obviously if we have 4 plus 1, if you have 4 and you add 1, it moves you to the right on our number line. Okay, so 4 plus 1 moves us to the right, that gives us 5. Real basic, right? Okay, so 4, if you add negative 1, wouldn't move you to the right. It wouldn't make sense if you're adding a negative to be going up. So adding 1 actually brings us, adding negative 1 would bring us here to 3. So you can actually look at adding negative 1 as just 4 minus 1. Okay? 3. So again, adding negative 1 should bring us left on a number line versus 4 plus 1, which brings us to the right. Okay? All right, negative 4 plus 1. Okay, we're adding 1. Okay, negative 4 would be over here somewhere. All right, so if we're adding 1, that should move us to the right. That's going to keep getting us closer to this side. So one spot to the right of negative 4 would be negative 3. Here's a way I like to look at those. Okay, anytime you are adding a negative and a positive, the first thing you want to look at is what do I have more of? Positive or negative? Well, I got 4 negatives, 1 positive, so I have more negative. Okay, so I know my answer is going to be a negative. And then basically all you're doing is finding the difference between these two numbers as if they were both whole numbers. For instance, 4 and 1. Well, what is the difference between 4 and 1? Well, difference basically means subtraction, so 4 minus 1 is 3, negative 3. And here we got 2 negatives. If you add them together, you don't get a positive, you get just a lot more negative. So 4 negatives plus 1 more negative would be 5 negatives. I always use this example. Okay, imagine that 2 people owe you money. Okay, one person owes you 4 and the other person owes you 1, then together they owe you 5. Negative 5. Okay? Because that's what negatives are. Negatives in the real world would be like owing someone. Okay? So here you got, well, I don't want to try that one right now. Alright? So let's go basic again. Now we're going to deal with subtracting negatives. This is where it can get a little tricky. Alright? So we got 4 subtract 1. That's pretty basic. We know 4 minus 1 is going to move us to the left. We're going to get smaller because we're subtracting 1. Okay? Now here we've got 4 minus negative 1. Well, if you get rid of a negative, think about it this way. When you subtract, you're getting rid of. So if we're getting rid of a negative, it actually is kind of like a positive. So this actually will move us to the right. Okay, so 4 minus 1 brings us here. 4 minus negative 1 would mean we're getting bigger because we're getting rid of a negative, would move us to the right. Okay, so you can actually, here's an old rule. When you are subtracting, you can do this. Okay, you keep your first number, you change your sign. So if you're subtracting, you're going to change it to addition. And then you will change the sign of your second number. So in this case, it's negative 1. Now it is positive 1, which again is 5. So it's keep your first number, change your sign, change your other sign. Then you can just work it out. So that only works with subtraction. Okay? So here, we can look at this 2 ways. We can just go negative 4. So we're at negative 4 and we lose another 3. Well, if you're at negative 4, like if you owe me $4 and then you lose $3 to me, well, you don't all of a sudden have 7 or 1. You've lost. You went from owing me 4 to now owing me another 3. That means you owe me 7. Okay. And again, you could use that same rule, because I think addition is a lot easier. So I would get very used to this rule if you can. So -4, keep, change your minus to a plus. And this is a 3, so negative, so we're going to change it to -3. And again, -4 plus -3 doesn't make a positive, it's just a lot of negative. -7. Alright, so I've got a few of these in your practice. I advise you try and, write this stuff down, use the examples, use your brain first, but double check it against a calculator, okay? Definitely double check it, alright? This is going to be really, really important when you get to Algebra 1. We also have some Pythagorean theorem on this assignment, the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'm going to post an old video that I made, one of my original ones, a few years back, if you need any help with those. So, alright guys, hope you're doing well.